Ulongata bati yada tó yẹ kó máa da ifá. Inú tó yẹ kó jẹun lọ fi bí pa. Ọba tálá, ọba takuntakun. Ṣàngó, Èṣù, Ògún, Ọya, Ọ̀ṣun. Ìwọ ló ń bọ̀ nílé. Kí ni ṣẹ̀ṣe tán ṣe nílé yìí o?
Alafia, peace and blessings, peace and blessings. Welcome to another episode of the IFA African Spirituality Experience, another live stream, and we are joined today by distinguished community elder, none other than the Oba Oloye Ojise Baba Ifa Karade. Alafia, boy, Shishe. What's good, Baba? How you doing today?
Boy, I am so looking forward to today's discussion, our podcast, and hearing from our distinguished listeners out here, all our people. One love. Okay.
I say, well, here we have it. Here we are, man. We're back once again. Shout out to everybody who's been showing love. Like I said, the channel definitely growing and short order, man, and exponential growth has been taking place over the last week or two. And I give thanks to the tribe. As always, y'all know we appreciate you. We appreciate the love, the support, the feedback, the shares, the people who you're sharing the channel with, the people who you're telling about the channel. We appreciate it. And, we couldn't be doing what we're doing the way we're doing it without y'all here with us. So we definitely got to give our flowers to the tribe and just give thanks and appreciation, man, because that's why we do what we do. And I appreciate every single one of you. And that's facts. Shout out to Nkosi and Queen for, being VIP members. We got our first call tomorrow at 12 p.m. So I'm looking forward to getting with y'all so we can get this thing cracking as promised. And I can't wait, man. It's been a phenomenal ride and we're just getting started. But, without further ado, Baba, you ready to get this thing cracking and making it do what it do?
As we always do, my brother. As we always do.
Yes, sir. We always do it this time.
Yeah. No. Much appreciative.
Yes, sir.
All right. So I got the ball. All right.
Yeah. So real quick, Baba, before you start throwing up them threes and dunking on people and catching alley-oops and all that, how let me ask you real quick before we get rolling. So what inspired today's show? What inspired the topic for today's conversation, Baba?
Well, based on all that we've been building, okay, the edifice of more knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, it becomes important from an insightful journey that the mind state, the ori inu, the ori isheshe, though hardly ever taken into consideration, must be taken into consideration. And within that consideration, there dwells the mental awareness, the mental bringing into strength and empowerment, the mental dimension of Isheshe. And that leads us to meditation. And that becomes the thrust of today's podcast. Okay? Because it's one offering, it's one thing to continually divine or be divine for, or a reader and go get readings. All of that is what it is. Again, I'm never here to, bash anybody's thing. It is what it is for those who it's for. I, however, want to add to that circulating understanding of this is what we do and this is how we are and this is what contains us. I want to add to it sort of an iconoclastic breaking free of that, or should I say extending that to the realization that there's more to it than that. And so now we start to dwell into the meditative sciences, into the inner Ish. All right. And that's what it's about today. Baba Orisha baby.
Asheo. Yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. Meditation has been a really hot topic on the channel as well. And I got to give a shout out to Baba Astarius Miraculi. Him and I are going to be getting some more work in, some deep, good energy, spatial, universal, top tier I should say work, together, collectively. We're working on doing some things to bring that healing and that whole vibrational frequency elevation type thing to the community and to the tribe. But also, it's been something that's been really beneficial, extremely beneficial for me, and I can't stress enough how many powerful downloads that I receive. Every single time I have a good deep meditation, I get some sort of download, I get some sort of wall gets removed, the block gets removed, or a hurdle gets crossed. It just always seems to give me some sort of beneficial return on my investment. You know what I mean? Some ROI. The time invested into the meditation, I get that return, from it. Sometimes immediately right after I come out of it. Sometimes, throughout the next couple of hours, throughout that day or the next day. But it's extremely beneficial, and I love that. We're going to hit it today, but we're going to hit it on a deep level. And I can't wait to hear the way you kind of tie in your own perspective in regards to meditation, the benefits of meditation, and just whatever insight you can give us to kind of help us take our meditation practices to the next level. So for the tribe, y'all, I don't know if y'all know or not, but Baba is an adamant meditator. He's an adamant Tai Chi practitioner. Baba be putting in work, man. He gets it in on a daily basis. And it's like I learned so much from him, not just on the podcast, but even in our personal conversations based off of the practices and the disciplines and all the different things that he has set up in his daily structure. And it's helping to mold me to create my own version of that by utilizing some of the framework that I see that he's using within his structure. So it's extremely beneficial, man. I always, just got to make sure that I give thanks for you and for all that you do, Baba. So I'm looking forward to hearing your sights and insights and your whole perspective in regards to this thing that we call meditation.
Yes, sir. Well, first of all, my sincere thanks and appreciation for the recognition that you share. I live this. I hope to reflect it. I hope to bring about a resonating vibration and frequency so that, as you mentioned, others within the realm, of Ifa Isheshe specifically, not everybody in general, from people that I meet and the students that I have, everybody feels the vibe. For those who are within the inner circle or some of the ripplings of the inner circle, then we, you know, kind of focus more on it and say, this is how we get to these points. This is how we tune in to the frequency of our nature, of the Da of our existence. Now, where it becomes a little bit different, is that aside from the Kemetic, what we've grown up to understand, and I'll use that word in quotation marks because we really don't understand. Let me say what we've been shown on an increasingly frequent basis is that, the meditation arts and the meditation science and those who partake in them are basically non-African. I would dare say even in the Kemetic sense, because in the Western attempt and the Middle Eastern attempt to separate Egypt, Kemet, from Africa, there is a diluting of the potential, the power, the ingenuity, and the high civilizations built upon the minds of our people. You see, what did those pyramids mean to the people, not just to those who built the pyramids and engineered the pyramids? You see, so the same falls into the crooked line of mental practices, meditational practices. And again, I'm coming specifically from an Ifa Isheshe corner of the universe. Okay, not a broad term, because again, I know that in most minds bombarded by mass media, that meditation and sciences of meditation are not a part of the West African construct. Because remember, that whole enslavement time, tortured time, erased all of that. And as we were dehumanized, we were also dementalized. And so whatever practices we had, whatever beliefs we had, whatever internal sciences we had were basically torn asunder. Drips and drabs here and there, but for the most part, generation after generation, we were what they were attempting to make us, subhuman. And that is a mind bending horror. Now that we have an opportunity to go beyond that, we start to find that the whole meditational practices are African in design, African in creation, African in the execution of the mental enlightenment that comes as a result of introspection of the mind. And we find that again with the Kemetan, then we talk about, the pineal gland, pituitary gland, all the glands come in as a part of consciously awakening the inner potential of the human being. Now, from the very beginning of my practice in meditation, it was from the Eastern studies. And yes, it had a lot to do with the Hinduism and all the Hindu gods, and studying yoga with people like Shrami Rahman, and understanding the impact of the 60s when a lot of the gurus and yogis were coming into the United States, and the meditational practices were taken off. The same way that Bruce Lee kind of brought the whole kung fu thing into, and hence, a rippling effect of Chinese medicine, Chinese practices, Asian studies, karate, all of the martial arts things started kicking off, you know. However, there was still no semblance of the West African taking off of meditational practices and sciences. We were getting into the quote unquote religious aspect, the quote unquote spiritual aspect. Now, again, on the mental side, I was learning about all of the chakras and, experiencing this, but it woke me up in the middle of the night, one fateful night, and stated that you can't go any further with this. Spirit was speaking softly, but hitting all the right buttons in terms of waking me up. You know, you can't continue like this because inside of these chakras dwells the divinities of a given culture. And this culture, perhaps by extension of generations, might lay some genetic, some bloodline, but 99.9% of you is right here, as far as the West African geographical and geocultural place. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So now we deal with another type of syncretism. Now we're bringing the quote unquote Indian folks from India, their culture into Ifa Isheshe. And you'll have people who get into Reiki and all other forms of quote unquote Eastern studies, and then apply it to Ifa Isheshe. And I get it. I feel as though it's a beautiful thing. Okay. But within me, there was like, as you're developing as a priest amongst the people, you need to have a deeper connection to the inner structure, the esoteric, the Orisha internal. Because all the while people trying to get you to, become a Hindu, and people trying to get you to become a Muslim, and people trying to get you to become a Christian, you know what I mean? And Spirit is saying, no, I can only be Ifa. That's all I can be. But I don't do really anything about it, you know? And I know this seems like the long way around, the meditational thing, but I can't plant the seed if the soil is not fertile. So I got to give people the backdrop, so they can say, yeah, I went through that, or yeah, I understand where he's coming from. Because before white women took over basically meditational and yogic practices, as a mass media statement, look on any magazine cover, trust me, okay? Then before it was again gurus and yogis, 99% male, but they were cool with it, no problem. And from it, some of us in the Afrocentric communities were picking up on meditational sciences, and those who got into the martial arts were picking up on meditational sciences, but hardly any of us who were getting into African traditional religions or African spirituality were picking up from it from the African center.
I sure.
A Sora set, as far as I can put a finger on the pulse of, was probably, if not the first, amongst the first and most influential in terms of kind of opening up that door and saying that our African ancestors, via the Kemetan experience, were deeply entrenched in meditational sciences, meditational practices. Okay. I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, we're starting to get a little feel for this. Now, when I realized that, my meditational practices couldn't be the opening of Shiva and, other Hindu god stuff, I started doing a little research, started wandering around, and I came across this very old, dusty book at the top of a shelf, and again, Rutgers University there in New Brunswick, and it talked about the Dravidians, and until this a few hours ago, I discovered that the Dravidians are the ancestral people of India. And where did they come from? They came from the eastern part of Africa. Some of our earliest ancestors moved to the east, and some moved to the west, some moved north, and some moved south. But the whole Tamil thing. But long story short, it was the Dravidians who set the stage for what came to be known as the Hindu way. It was our ancestors who developed that before the Aryans came down maybe 2,500 years ago and, invaded, as usual, from the Caucasus Mountains, that whole thing. But looking at how meditative sciences were opening up my ancestral bearing and were making it a better counterbalance to the struggles that I was going through. And like you stated, when I started noticing that whatever my mental state was had a lot to do with how things came about in my life or didn't. So I need to work on my mental state. And how do I do that? Okay. Well, the sciences were already there, and they are there as a creation of our ancestors. Okay. So now we have the Dravidians who came up with the Upanishads. The Upanishads precedes the Bhagavad Gita, though argued. But now that they did do DNA testing and there's more knowledge than say back in the 1930s, okay, it's to light that A, there were African people. B, the Dravidians set the foundation. So when the Aryans took over, that kind of syncretism emerged. But the Dravidians, that side of the Upanishads, was less about religious practice and hierarchies, but more about the spiritual evolution of the human being. We don't see it, we don't hear about it, but that's a whole nother conversation, connected to imagery, something we can cover in our classes. But the whole thing is the Upanishads in writing was stating some very deep and profound statements about the human condition, which I'm doing research now to add in a chapter in Elder Reflections 3 on correspondence and correlations between the Upanishads and IFA. Back to the meditational specifically. Within the handbook, we have the chakras, and it's meditation upon those chakras that bring about a of the human experience. Okay, so from 7 to 1, and within those chakras, instead of having the Indian or the Hindu gods, okay, or from studying Tai Chi, the Chinese have gods inside of the chakras. You understand what I'm saying? But when we start looking at the African world internally, I had to say, if every other culture can have their divinities inside of them, why can't we? Why can't we? You know? But what we have to do it ourselves, and nobody else going to give it to us. And somehow I think that's of our problem. You know, well, somebody should make a movie about this, and somebody should write a book about this, and somebody should say something about this. Well, it's up to us to do for us like that, you know. And if nobody else is going to do it, yeah, I'll do it. I ain't scared. You know what I mean? I'll do it. You know. So inside of us, we have the chakras. Now, upon meditation upon the chakras, each chakra has if you will, a vibrational frequency. Okay? Like for the third eye, pineal, okay, it's om, and the sound of that vibration stimulates the primary. And then come to find out, it wasn't the folks from India, it wasn't the Caucasians who came down who developed that. It was the Dravidians who developed that, and you know, across the continent, as well as to other lands, to include India, and then built, you know, the great Indus Valley civilizations. So you see, meditation is not foreign to us. And respect to Arumila, okay, which I'll little break and then go into that. We also find that there's an importance to the inner working of the mind. Okay, but before getting into that, I mean, any comments, statements, or questions? You know.
No, not yet. Everybody just, you know, coming in and greeting, giving showing love, speaking, and you know, giving their blessings, their blessings, and you know, hollering at us. So yeah, but I'm sure we're gonna have them as we continue to roll through it, though.
Well, you know, it's incumbent upon me to, you know, take a brief, you know, and then ask, and then, you know, head to the next, because I don't want to be going on and on and on, you know.
Nah, I got you. I tell you what, if anything, I can go ahead and start the presentation, and then I know we're gonna have questions with that, and you know what I mean, and then yeah, and we'll just go from there.
All right. One last statement before we do, you know, as we're getting it up.
No, hey, you do have to, man. You got the wheel. I'm the co-pilot.
Right. So, you know, I really set this thing up with the Upanishads, you know, and I really want to set this thing up as our people being the originators of the meditative sciences and practices. And I say the Dravidians, you know, as the earliest known, but again, they confined to any village or town. You know, these were some of the earliest cognizant Homo sapiens sapiens who had evolved to a certain level, and part of that evolution dealt with an inner understanding of the mind and the frequencies that one could sound, as in the beginning was the word. You understand? To bring about a certain, you know, way of perceiving and a certain openness of a mental state that we have the capability and the inner capacity to from within. You see? Now, the Dravidians also came up with these three syllables. Now, along with the frequencies, I'll just say om now because I want to connect with that in part two. But da, da, da. Okay. Da, da, da becomes very important because it's one of the earliest recordings of symbols and sounds that bring about and of how we're going to move as a people, how we're going to move as an individual. Okay, no? Da being self-control and maybe we can connect that to Iwa Puele, so to speak. You know, what's your character? How are you balancing your behavior based on your psychological mindset? Okay, Da. Okay, how are you moving in terms of your reverence to all to the the being of life, your ancestors, okay, the divinities that you hold so dear. And then the third da, okay, is reverence do you have for all things, living, non-living, both or neither. You see, these become the meditational ways that we live, not just go to the ceremony, not just get the this or get the that, but actually, how do we govern our lives? And how can we expect to govern our communities if we can't govern ourselves? How can we expect to govern our nations if we can't govern ourselves as individuals and as the inner circles who create the rippling effect of the civilized, the uplifting, the of goodness to the world? You see? So on if I just stuck with those two, you know, Om, third eye, pineal gland, and da, those three. Now, as time and classes go on, I'll demonstrate how we even utilize that in our literature to continually promote the image of a sound that resonates to the development of an individual. And I dare say, not into Ifa Isheshe to develop ourselves, and the epitome of our faith, then we're just doing the same as everybody else, but just dressed in ashoke. You know what I mean? It's like, well, what's the difference? What's the difference? Okay, we want to praise, but we don't want to develop. You know what I mean? We do, but don't want to, you know, go in and differences, within ourselves and within our communities. All right, so there's much more, my people, so much more. But again, that's why we're having the classes.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Yes, sir. That's what's up. Okay. So you ready to get that thing going, Bob? Or you still
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's keep it
look,
moving.
look, look, look? I'm not. Look, I ain't trying to drive the master off the road, man. You know, I got list. Look, shout out to the listener, one of our tribe members. I don't remember the profile name, but hopefully, they're watching. But they're saying how they appreciate like me shutting up, not getting in the way when the elders are speaking. I'm like, look, yeah, I'm shutting up and I'm taking notes and I'm learning too, man. That's the last thing I'm gonna do is interrupt. But I'm gonna sit there real quiet and patient and take these notes, like Nkosi was saying.
I try, give it a breather because it's not all about me.
Yeah.
It's all about us.
Yeah,
So
listen,
it's all good, man.
I love it, and I think it's safe to say for the tribe we love it. So yeah, I'm all in. I appreciate it. Okay, well, family, we're gonna give it a go again with this presentation thing. I've been playing with this platform. I'm gonna get it figured out sooner or later, but I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen real quick so we can dig in. Let's see. Perfect. Okay, we got it. All right. So we got it up in the right way today. So I wanted to go over the law again too, because last week when we did the live, I wasn't really happy with like how it came out, being that we couldn't really see it properly. So I wanted to kind of just hit that, and then for those who might not have seen last week's episode or this episode, but so I was sharing in regards to our live stream about art, and having the vision and wherewithal to kind of be able to create, in regards to art. The who created this logo, she's been doing artwork for me for years now, since probably like 2017, maybe 2018, 2017, I think. And whenever I need things done, I go to her because I trust her vision. I love her vision. I just feel like there's certain elements that we got to have that melanated kind of, that melanated ashe within, you know what I mean? The creation aspects of art. And so with her having a track record and a history of creating phenomenal art for me, I kind of stick with her. So shout out to Queen for doing the work for me. But anywho, the logo, she created it on her own. I just kind of told her what the was about, but not necessarily Orisha or anything like that, just what the brand represented. And so she came back with it. For those who weren't on the last call, for those who were, I apologize for being redundant, going over again. But so when she gave it back to me, I fell in love because I saw so many different like synchronicities and so many inner works in regards to what the logo meant. And a few of the things I even noticed I didn't share on the last one that I'll go into. But with that being said, man, when I first saw it, I fell in love because I saw the logo, but yet I saw what she did with, she included each one of the major 7 Orisha into the logo, and I don't think that was intentional. I'm not sure if it was or not. I have to ask her, but I don't think that it was. But long story short, way we look at the way I saw it is, you know, on the far left side, you see right here that to me that machete is symbolizing, you know, Ogun, and then I felt like the peacock was symbolism of Oshun, and then I felt like the beautiful African mermaid-looking figurine that symbolized Imoja, and then also the buffalo symbolizes Oya, and then the double-edged axe, of course, Kabiesi, Baba Shango, and then the snail symbolizing Obatala, and then the snakes would be symbolism for the Gungun, and the child in the middle would be symbolism for a certain aspect of Eshu. So I wanted to share it with a clear view, because the way I did it the other day, I wasn't really feeling that, and I don't know if everybody got to see it, you know, properly. But Baba, after looking at it again, I started noticing, I feel like the little tips of the top of it look like kind of like the tip of a spear. You know what I mean? And so I'm like, yo, that's deeper, because now we're talking about warriorhood. You know, we're talking about, you know, like the word that you shared in the last presentation, which I'm gonna bring back up again from Benin. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what I saw. And then also, in some ways, I even see like the hands. To me, they kind of symbolize the tree of life. Very, very. Matter of fact, I got a tree of life like statue over here too that I can share. But anywho, that's what I wanted to get into in regards to kind of really clearing up the presentation mini pack we did with the Ashe logo. And then to the real deal, Holyfield, we're gonna get into this beautiful picture that Baba shared with me earlier. Baba, before you get into breaking this down, I want to ask a question real quick for myself in regards to how does the snake, how does that metaphorically represent the Egungun before we get into the meditation?
I have heard about the snake being more of the Dambala, you know, especially coming out of the Loa of Haiti, Osumare, the rainbow, Orisha within the more of the construct. Now, how it relates to the Egungun, I'd have to do a little bit more research on it to speak, you know, with sense of confidence. Okay. Now, granted, as we spoke on the last, what becomes what one symbolizes is a matter of one's school of thought, you know, one's lineage, and what to a person via their knowledge.
I should.
Okay, so again, that's something I'd like to ponder, and I get ask, you know, how do you see it?
Well, okay, the first thing that comes to my mind, and mind you, this is the first thing that came is as you were saying what you were saying. It's funny you threw me the alley oop, but I feel like the first thing that comes to my mind is the Kundalini aspects, you know, of the spinal cord. You know what I mean? Because that they say that the Kundalini, or I should say the spinal cord, is kind of like the connection to consciousness, right? So if you figure that, even if we're looking at the chart right here with the meditation kind of being a metaphorically representation of, or I should say a metaphoric representation of meditation in the 7 chakras, right? So if we start at the root chakra, at the bottom, that's going to represent the root chakra, which is kind of tied to Shango, and then, you know, we'll go on, so on and so forth. But for me personally, when I think of snake, the first thing I think of is health, and I think of the staff of, you know what I mean, of people in the medical field. I think about the Kundalini force, whereas energy rises from the bottom, you know, and goes up to the top once it hits our and then goes out through the crown. You know what I mean? So I'm like, when we're talking about spirit and we're talking about the Gungun, we're talking about the ancestors, I feel like we as people, in some shape, form, or fashion, if you look at our makeup, we start off, you know, as a spermatozoa, almost like a tadpole. You know what I mean? So that, you know, kind of moves in a way similar, you know what I'm saying, to snake. But then when you talk about a snake, you also, a lot of people would think, one of the things I think about the most is as they grow, they shed their skin. So as we grow as a spiritual being, we shed our skin suit. You know, we shed this physical body, this physical, you know, temporary vehicle that we're driving through as a spirit, as a soul being. And then we shed that suit to grow into the next level of our ancestral, you know, destination or cycle of life is pretty much how I would kind of say how it strikes me. Now, this is just based off of my
well,
off the cuff and just freestyling, but that's what I got from it.
yeah. Well, I'm gonna share something with you. I just needed to hear you say it.
I got
Since
you.
you interpret it. Now, and on point. I mean, you can't have the chakras without having Kundalini. You know, and you know, we can't move up if we don't know what we're climbing on.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes,
So you are spot on, brother. All right. But you know, because it's your interpretation that means the most to you. You know, it has to be you who articulates it. And see, that's what we're striving for. We're striving for Ifa Isheshe to be able to articulate their experiences. I write books, I give lectures, okay? But if I'm not talking to myself and listening to myself and hearing the inner spirit of others and speaking to the inner spirit of others, then I'm not fully connected, you know. I'm not intertwined. I'm not thinking in those ways. I'm more or less acting instinctively, you know, survival of the fittest, you know, ride or die, you know what I mean? Die or die. Where's the thinking going on here now? You know, where's the higher mind?
right.
You know? But anyway, I said all that to say that um, it was good to hear you say it, just like it's good to hear our listeners, you know, taking this in and put words to it. How many times do you know, I in a class and the student respond, well, you know, I really don't know how to say it. You know, I really don't know how to put it into words. And I say, well, look, we'll take a little time. You know, I don't rush them out of it. You know what I mean? Because being able to articulate it is a higher learning process. You see?
Sure.
Oh, this very important and is very powerful, you know. And at first, when you said, you know, Egungun, I was thinking of the proper in terms of the guild of Egungun. So I was trying to connect the snake as a symbol to them.
I should have said ancestors. My apologies.
It's okay because see, this is what people need to see us doing.
Yeah.
Dialoguing, you know, working it out. How can I better say it? Or I didn't understand it, you know, the way that you were thinking it. So let's bring it together. This is important. This is a mindset that's working. And this is what makes a tribe a tribe. Not just what they do on the physical sense, but are they in accord and in harmony with how they're vibing?
Sure.
You know, and if anybody's not on that vibe, then they have a little bit of a, you know, a little happening that, you know, folks try to straighten out.
Yeah.
And Kosi, I can't say that. I know that Iwaju means future, as in Ojo Iwaju, children of the future. But let's have you research that. See if you can find the term for chakras, all right, or something similar to it. All right, you got your assignment, brother. You ready for class? All right,
Yeah.
make it happen.
My boy don't miss a beat, man. Shout out to Coach. Y'all, he be going in, boy, for real. Shout out to him, man. Queen Liquor Waters, the whole tribe. Nice to everybody, man. I appreciate all y'all, all the Carriday Nation.
Yeah, but I'm gonna start treating people more like, you know, they disciples, you know, in the temple.
Look,
It's going to be like,
that,
because this is where we need to get to.
There you go. Listen, virtual temple. That's
Yeah.
what it sounds like to me, you know, especially with the technology, we got to use it, you know.
Oh, there's no need not to have one.
Facts.
All right.
Excuse me. Shout out to Mr. Rodriguez coming in the building. Appreciate you. What's going on with your Lafayette need family?
So, okay, go ahead, bro.
No. I was just showing love to the tribe coming in. But no, go ahead, Baba, because so we were ready to get into, you know, this meditation correlates to the Orisha and each chakra.
All right. So when I first came up with this, now mind you, I just pulled this from somebody's site last night.
And I started to put the ones from your book in there, but I didn't want to like cut it too close for putting the presentation together.
I sent this one because it's color.
Got you. Okay.
Right?
Got you.
And you know, we just talked about the whole chromotherapy thing, you know, and the impact of color and color, you know, affects us.
Right.
So but you know, that's how, as they say, spirit works, because you put it out there and then all of a sudden I'm just scrolling through something and it's like, dang, That's what I was looking for. You know what I mean? It's in color. So here we go with, now I know it was taken out of my book, out of the handbook.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
That's the first place. That's the first only place I ever saw it. I got the handbook right here.
exactly. It's not there. It's on page 47.
Okay, look, you
No
too.
other one now. You got the.
It still work the same, man. This thing got a lot of miles on it, buddy. I got it tabbed up, got all kind of little tabs and all. Playbook.
The old one is, you know,
on this one.
you know what I mean? The old one's the granddaddy. I had to fight them for this to come out. Yeah. But at any rate, when I put this out in the handbook, I had people hating me for days, you know, of the other, you know, syncretisms that about. This is not right. How can you do that? And blah 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 blah. I'm like, well, first of all, I don't need your permission to do a daggone thing. Let's start with that, you know. Second of all, you know, I'm doing what I'm moved to do ancestrally. I'm not trying to please anybody right now. Okay. I'm just sitting here letting my hands be so moved to put down what the epiphanies are, what the revelations are that come through me via my initiations, the faith that I put in, the time that I come in to, like you say, like that snake, to my kundalini up to a point where I'm gaining an inkling of understanding. And does Iseshe not mean work? Work yourself. You know what I mean? To be, you know, a better work within the community, you know. So, you know, as I'm pulling this concept together and dealing with the hatred that I'm getting from other, you know, Babas and, you know, Santeros and all them people, you know, it's like, what? This is blasphemy. You can't do this. You can't do that. Again, keep poking the bear, all right? Okay? I'm not bothering you. I'm not telling you what you can do or can't do. You know? So, and foremost, I'm doing this for my people. First and foremost, we're not going to be in the background. We're not going to continually be subjected, you know, being the subjects of some ruling, you know, hierarchy, even if it's a delusional one. You don't own me. You rule me. This is what is coming through me to bestow upon my people. It ain't a force in the world that can stop me. None. Okay. So here I have the chakras line up, and then all of a sudden the doors started creaking open. I started hearing the little creaks, and you know, some people was coming through. They like, damn, wow, that's deep. You know, I had studied meditation for a while. I was in, you know, the seafood was talking about meditation all, but I never would have dreamed of putting the Orisha in there. I said, well, I dreamed of it, you know, and so I did it, and it works fine. I would be in certain situations, and if my heart started going a certain kind of way, you know, dealing with authorities and all that kind of stuff, I knew that Ogun was there for me. And I watched Ogun play out to bring that situation to where I was victorious. And things got done the way that I needed to get it done to better myself and to better those people whom were in my charge. Okay. And the same thing about Obatalad throat chakra, well, when you start looking at the hormones and where this chakra plays such an important part in governing the whole body, then you start to understand that I just ain't sit down and make this up, you know? You know, these are glandular statements, right? And then, you know, it goes on and on and on. And then now we started to say, oh, well, some people starting to get it. And then some people starting to add, you know, more to it. But the foundation of it, you know, it started back in the 80s and was published and copywritten in 1994, you know. So here we go now, 2024, and there's still people who are striving to reach that internal, that esoteric, striving to bring about moving from within instead of being pulled and twisted, but you know, by ropes and chains, moving from within. And this leads us Orumila and seeing the third eye. Well, even going back to our Kemetan sciences, you know, we start to understand the power of that pineal gland and how that is the portal, if you will, two other worlds, two other insights. And from my own meditational practices, going back to 80s and 90s, where I was a man, I lived meditation, you know, and times when I just went to literally to other lands, you know, and sometimes it was very frightening, not because the land was frightening, but because our minds aren't geared to journeying spiritually. We might say we spiritual, but we haven't, you know, we haven't crossed over into that other realm. I know it's there, you see, but it has to be a part of a discipline. It has to be a part of, this is what we do. This is how we live. We are Ifa Isheshe. We don't, you know, go ceremonies. You know, we are including the inner practices of our ancestors, and we find a rumula in the third eye. I'm telling you, that's where it is, because I've been there. And to add to it, there was said to be the brother of Orunmila, Ela, another Orisha never spoken about, which is basically translated as the spirit of Ifa, the spirit of Orunmila, the communication, Orunmila and Olodumare. You know, that essence, the space, the journey. You see, and Ela said, be the only Orisha that can kind of keep Eshu in check. You know, if Eshu, you know, start to like test the boundaries a little bit too much.
Eshu start doing what Eshu do.
Yeah, and Eli was like, "Okay, got to slow your roll, buddy." And but there, again, there are different schools of thought. I'm just putting it out there for us to have something to think about and to know that exists. To know that it exists within the West African construct of we who are of the Oyo, the Edo and all of those nations that comprise the empires. The empires. It may be 2024 based on the Gregorian calendar, but it's 10,064 based on the Ifa/Yoruba calendar. We've been charting the moon and the stars for over 10,000 years. And we let our beginning back that far, and our internal works and our buildings, the Iya, the Great Wall of Benin, okay, for example. It just wasn't built because, you know, people started, you know, scraping in the dirt, you know, hunters and gatherers. You know, these were people who had an inner movement to build the greatest structure, non-technologically speaking, in terms of modern technology, the industrial period. Let me be specific, on the whole daggone planet. Okay, so they were deeply in tune with themselves, and again, carryovers from the more ancient to journeyed eastward to the Nigerian region, and whatever groups they met when they get there, because see, that's a whole nother chapter in study. Well, no, it's a whole nother book, okay, in terms of groups of human beings that were evolving in different stages at different places, even upon the continent of Africa, okay, which gave birth basically to the whole concept of Obatala. But any rate, another story. So the meditational practices are here and they are for us. And just like people came up with the divinities to go inside of the chakras based on their culture, I'm like, we can do the same. And the we is the we. So I'm gonna step on out into the ring, and whatever hits I got to take for it, I can take it. That's what I trained for. Okay, but there will be deliverance of my people. So here we are, from Shango to Yemoja to Oshun to Ogun, Obatala, Orumila, and then of course Ori. That little soft spot that they say babies have, you know, or they say that babies have, okay? The essence of spirit. But it's a two-way street, y'all. It's a two-way street, okay? All right, bro. How we looking with that one? Okay. then we'll
looking great. Look, I'm over here putting together a whole nother presentation. I got it. I'm almost done with it too. I was gonna share it, from the handbook, because I feel like it adds a whole nother element of the way you have. I mean, not in the one that we have, but I just feel like yeah, the one that from the handbook though is definitely a whole nother level of clarity. So I was trying to put together like a quick little share with sharing.
Okay. All right. Well,
I mean, everything you said spot on from my neck of the woods for sure.
all right.
Yes, sir.
And so
Quick question too, Baba.
okay, explain the two-way
My
street statement.
apologies.
Okay. So when we are conceived on to the time we are brought into the world, okay, brought into the world, there's the brain so much of a part of that. I mean, obviously, okay. Now, when we talk about how the essence of life comes into us from a consciousness on earth, reality. I mean, we're not born brain dead, aside from, anything traumatic, okay? Then that flow, okay, is a basis of being open up here. And how do we correspond or correlate that to Ori? Because that's where the highest are generated. And I'm now putting together a statement that Ori is not just about the head. Ori covers every last chakra. Ori covers every one of the trillions of cells that are in our bodies. So that consciousness in Kosi becomes something that's generated by the cells in our body, but is also needing to be made aware of by the cosmic essence of ourselves, the stardust, if you will, of which we are all components of. We are sacred dust, okay? And so that element comes through us through our, people call it the crown chakra for a reason, okay? Hopefully that lends a little understanding to it, But again, we'll cover it more deeply in classes, and it gives us something to research as a part of being into Ifa Isheshe, not from Ifa Isheshe, not Ifa Isheshe, but at the core of Ifa Isheshe. All right? Orisha Bami, you ready? You good?
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Just multitasking, but I'm making it do what it do. So I got next. This. So we're gonna jump into. Did you want to finish up with meditation, or did you want to jump into the finishing art? Because I was able to throw something together real quick. Like, man, I feel like I'm in college again, and I got an assignment due, and I got to get the deadline. I got to hit that deadline before that 12 a.m. Or that 11:59 upload.
Yes.
I'll go run out on me, man. So look. Unfortunately, I got some experience with trying to put work together in a crunch time.
Well, while we're absorbing this picture, I'm just going to go over a few terms in Yoruba that do relate to the meditational practices. Okay. For example, we started off with Isharo. Okay. Isharo is the Yoruba term for meditation. When's the last time you heard that in your Ile? When's the last time you saw it on TV? They never show us doing the highest of things, and the lowest of things we've come to, accept as the only thing. And that whole has to be dismantled. Okay. But while we're dismantling it, the misconceptions, the untruths, okay, do we are to build. So we're dismantling a certain mindset, not so that we're empty, but the same kind of speed that we're dismantling is the same speed, if not faster, that we are building new concepts, new perceptions of self, new perceptions of our ancestral bearing, new perceptions of what is going to be reverberating for 7 generations, new perspectives, shifting the paradigms so that we again unshackle ourselves mentally, physically, spiritually. Okay. So we talked about Sharo, Shishia for the metaphysical, Ikoso, self-control, Ifa, Iyabale, peaceful volition and nonviolence. Iwe Mimo, I like this one. Spiritual teachings. Isharo meditations. Balaga, the state of consciousness when it first dawns. Iwapuele, we're familiar with that. The expression of deep control and behavior, composure. Okay. Imoye, knowledge. Idake Roro, the discipline of silence. Dama, quieting the senses. Olumoye is a guru or spiritual teacher. Olumoye. Erewo, undesirable behaviors. Ajaga. Now we talked about the word for chakras. Well, ajaga is the word that I chose for yoga, because ajaga means to yoke, to bring together. And guess what yoga means? The same daggone thing. Okay? Pure, oneness with all things. Abba, the act of channeling, like with Tai Chi, the act of channeling Ashe, not just, oh, Ashe this, Ashe that, Ashe this. Well, you got to channel it. Okay? And not just for possession, but for, an insightful kind of focusing of energy, an insightful kind of focusing of state of mind and state of body and state of spirit. Okay. And lastly, for the sake of time and now, Toro, which means tranquility. You see, these lessons aren't in general part of the Ifa Isheshe involvement. Only people who are going to bring this up is us, and in particularly the Babalaos and the Iyanifas. Because why are we called high priests and priestesses? Because we can do more of the same thing that everybody else is doing. I don't even want to start getting into how the Ifa schools developed 3,000, 4,000 years ago in our spiritual center, Ile Ife, and the 3 cycles that Ile Ife went through. Our people were meditational. They were deep. They made it happen. We didn't exist all this long time by being
shallow, lacking sustenance.
Yes.
Resilience.
Yes.
Ashe.
All right. Just wanted to cover that before you got deep on this, man.
Listen, Najee, I'm gonna let you do the deep dive in today, man. I'm just here for a little dip. Okay, so I did up something real quick, man. I cooked up something in the pot real quick for us, man. Like I said, I got a little experience from having to rush assignments, so I went ahead and put a rush job in. So yeah, now we can go into the, you know what I mean? So look,
you just got A+, bro.
Look, now I'm gonna take my report card and show it to Mama. See, can I get something for it?
Here go $5.
I'll take it. Hey, every little bit count, buddy. Listen here.
Uncle so and so be giving you like a little bit of money. How many A's you get? Okay, get $5 for every A.
I'm trying to get all of them. Give me all the A's and all the coins, baby. Let's get it.
That was back in the day, man. They love to give you money for getting them A's, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's nice, bro. Yeah. Ooh, that's nice. We're definitely gonna use that in the classes.
Oh yeah, for sure. And and the thing about it too, I want to go deeper into really go deep into this thing, man. If you want to, it's up to you. Or we could just go ahead and finish with the imagery from the last call. To try about what y'all want to do. Y'all want to keep going with the meditation, or do y'all want to get back into the imagery from the last call? If anybody want to let us know how y'all vibing with the aspects. Do y'all want to keep going through it, or do y'all want to jump back into the images and then some Q&A? See what the tribe got to say about how we do this.
All right.
But yeah, just like I said, from the first time I saw or read the handbook, man, I'm telling you, like, it really was next level for me, because it gave me so many fundamentals that I could use, along my journey and along my path. And to this day, like I was telling you too, I still listen to it all the time because I have all 3 versions. I got the audio, I got the paperback, and I got the ebook. You know what I mean? So it's like, it is what it is, man. In regards to into the being what I call the Bible for Ifa, you know what I mean? And that's why I've always, whoever asks me anything about the tradition, the first thing I do is tell them they need to get the handbook, because I'm like, once you read that, at this point now you have a basic, it's above basic, but you have a basic fundamental in regards to what Ifa and what Isheshe or Orisha, what all of that means, and then it gives you so many different dynamics and so many different elements. So even now, I figure it's been, I don't know, maybe 7-8 years I've had that book. There's still things that I learned from it to this day, whether I'm listening to it or if I'm picking it up to, take notes or something that I need an answer for, and I just want to figure something out real quick, I pick it up, or if I'm away from home, I got it on my phone because I got the ebook, I look it up, you know what I mean? But it's a very powerful book in regards to what the ground covers. It covers a lot of ground, but also it takes very intricate, high-level intelligence, but it's able to kind of transform it and bring it down to, I feel like, a level to where a layman's terms, a basic brand new, neophyte or brand new devotee can really pick up, and matter of fact, shout out to one of my clients, man, that just, made it through a step one of their journey, that fact, the handbook, and I want to say the handbook of GC, and it was one more book, and they sent me a picture, I think like a day or two ago, saying that they ready to get it going. So I'm like, yeah, that's what's up, man. So we're doing good work, Baba. Doing good work. For sure. Yep. And so the tribe said they're ready to go wherever. So we'll go back into the images because we didn't get to finish that, and I feel like that was dope too. So we'll go back into that one because I know you touched in how all of these different images resonated. So can you you want to jump in and share,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And well, me, I'm writing, a whole book here. Once you get all the transcripts done, it'll be like, man, Baba was writing a book. You just go from chapter to chapter, but it's all connected.
Yes, sir.
It's all connected. So here, now when we meditate and tribal nation, please try to see the methodology. Since someone earlier said I was very, methodic or something like that. You know what I mean? I remember Orisha gave me.
No, I said you move very methodical. Everything you do is very drawn out. It's premeditated. Like you already meditated on it. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, man, Baba moved very methodical, like a ninja. Boy, he be in there.
I was letting the tribe know we had that discussion. He laid that this morning. But the whole thing is, so I'm understanding. In a sense, fertilizing the soil. I remember as a little kid. We had a little backyard, and my mom would always have me, I was the oldest, when they cooked fish or something, and it was like some remains, like the fish heads and all that kind of stuff. She said, go out in the backyard and in the ground, and it'll be good for the plants. And I was like, well, I didn't think too much more about it. Mama said, go do it. You go do it. But later on, when I started, to kind of understand the one could make between the soil of the earth and it became crystal clear to me, like no shadow of a doubt that you can lay information on people. You can have people read 1,000 books. You can listen to the best psychologists. You can the greatest of philosophers and religious leaders and scientists. Drop those pearls of knowledge and understanding. But if that soil is not fertile, it's going to be very difficult, if not impossible, for those seeds to grow. So much of my methodology is making sure that the soil is fertile, and that's why I speak, anecdotally. I give my experiences. I share my life, not just turn to page 34, read this, and say the words and blah blah blah. No, it's like, are we internalizing it? And the best way to do that is to be authentic, be for real and relate to people like they are people and not objects. You see?
Right.
And going back to the statement you made about the handbook, which kind of triggered that, is that called the handbook. I struggled for almost a year trying to come up with a good title, only to boil it down to the handbook of Yoruba religious concepts. Take what was seemingly so mystical and complex and break it down to something that was digestible by the masses of people. I wasn't writing it for a thesis or, my PhD, doctorate, blah, blah, blah. I ain't got none of that. And then tell you the truth, I still don't. But what I do care about is the movement of us to better our state of being. And so I put it in a way that was like, yeah, whoever this Baba Ifa Karaday is, you know, we get him. In our community, we get him. We are using his books in our initiation. We are reading his books, you know, before we go to Ile Ife. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We just got a testimonial this week from Ile out in LA. I think I spoke about it on the last live stream. Yeah, you know, Queen reached out and reached out on social media and was saying how, you know, instrumental that book is. You know what I mean? Like they that particular Ile. I can't remember the name of Ile. I don't want to mess it up, but shout out to them if anyone's watching from the Ile in LA. But yeah, they were saying that they meet, you know, with their Ile, and one of the elder Babas was actually teaching the Odu, or about the Odu, from the handbook. I sent you the picture, as a matter of fact. So it's like this is a certified, you know, international certified, you know, bestseller, and a phenomenal piece of work. Phenomenal piece of work.
Since 1994. And before that, I was selling it out of the trunk of my car in papers that was run off from daggone Staples, you know, to the the conferences and lectures and whatnot. I'm like, I'm hooking this up. But through that process, I bettered myself, and I bettered my relationship with my people in terms of what the initiatory process had done to me, you know. All right, back to the picture, man. I don't want to digress.
No, you good. Let me back up real quick. Okay.
So let's just say this image here was shown to you since you were a child. This image was hung up on the walls of grandma's house. Okay. This part of the emotional bonding that you had. This image was the first thing you saw in the morning and the last thing you saw at night. Trust me when I say the whole perception of self would be different than seeing the opposite.
Sure.
And the showing of the opposite is by design. Okay. The showing of the opposite is a diminishing, a reducing of a people. Why don't we see this? Because it empowers us. It empowers our state of mind. It empowers our state of identity.
Subconscious mind.
Exactly. It goes all in. That's what meditation is all about in terms of the impact of that which is perceptible. What is it that we're able to perceive? I can meditate on the sound of a bird, but that sound has to be there until I can, you know, bring it to mind. The meditation upon our people as the constructors of the Sphinx, you know, the pyramids, the Great Wall of Benin. It's difficult. It's to meditate on it because it's not of the known. You see, so the image becomes simply a work of art. The image becomes simply, oh yeah, that was cool, but it doesn't transform. It doesn't have that meditational, you know, thrust that says you're gonna lift that kundalini up by means of the images that you're shown. And we can sit and we can say we're going to meditate on that image.
Yeah.
Okay. And my way of meditating may be different from another teacher's way of meditating, because in some areas, meditation is absence of all things in the mind. In others, the way I've come to understand and teach it is that you hold on to that image, you recreate it in your mind, you repicture it, and you hold on to that picture mentally. That's part of the strengthening part. You hold on to that picture, and the longer you hold on to it, the more it's going to speak to you until it's silent. And when you reach that silence, that's called samadhi. Samadi. That's samadhi. When that focused discipline becomes a voice in terms of recapturing the image. Like when I shut my eyes, I'm mentally drawing and recoloring what I've seen. You see where I'm going?
Yeah.
And once I've done that, I got to stick to it. Other thoughts are going to come in. You know what I mean? Stuff gonna be going on to the right, to the left. Water gonna be coming down from the ceiling. You know what I mean? Stuff that was happening like that. But no, I got to hold on to that image. I got to hold on to that image because that image hasn't reached samadhi yet.
Baba, can you down what samadhi means, please?
Well, it's just.
Is it crystallization or like, you know what I mean? Like
Oh no. I would say that it's the act of what is.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Got it. So
it's
almost
not
like a state of nothingness.
Yes,
Gotcha.
but it has to have the something in order to become the nothing.
I got you.
Because you see, these are mental exercises. Meditation, basically, you know, on a certain level called transcendental meditation, or one of the forms of meditation that was brought about in the you know, basically, you know, by people who just, you know, they were kind of getting into it. And
yes,
you know, people do Tai Chi all slow and easy, but no, Tai Chi is a fighting art. Okay, so the transcendental meditator might say, I just need to clear my mind, and I just need to keep my mind clear. You know, maybe I'll focus on my breathing. You understand what I'm saying? Okay.
Yes.
So I can clear my mind, just so I can de-stress. You know what I mean? I can be all right, and that's helpful. It really, really is. You don't have to be a track star to run. Okay, you get the benefits from it. You don't have to be a basketball star to go out and shoot some hoops.
Big facts.
You don't have to be a professor to read and study.
Right.
But the of meditation, or what, as I just explained. Okay.
Gotcha.
So this is where this image becomes important. If we can lock in on it and let it speak to us until it says nothing, and then when we emerge back into this state of mind, okay, we find ourselves being better at math and science and STEM and all that kind of thing. Then people are like, well, how did that happen? Because there's more ways to learning than
reading and writing.
Shout
out to IFA Sagoon, Carrot Nation in the building. He asked the question, what is the best time to meditate? And I would say first thing, really any time is, but I think the best time, scientifically proven, is like first thing in the morning. Like the first thing you do once you get up, you know what I'm saying? You want to brush your teeth and, you know, shower, whatever. But the very first thing that you do is like in very early, you know what I'm saying, like beginning moments of you waking up is what they say is considered to be the best time. And especially if you're an early riser to get up at like maybe 4 or 5 a.m. Because at that time, they say that I believe the serotonin and the melatonin are working together to like kind of really help us to be able to absorb, you know, whatever we can experience within that meditation time frame and practice. And that's something that I do a deep dive with y'all, with family. I'm gonna put together like a real official presentation to go even deeper to like answer those types of questions, because it's a lot to it. But at the same time, I feel like I can wholeheartedly say from my experience, the most important thing about it is just doing it, regardless of what time you do it, or how long you do it, but doing it. Me personally, I feel like a good 20, 30 minutes is definitely more than enough. But if I want to really, really unplug and like really like shoot up into the universe and astral project and travel and go all over and go all in, I try to get about an hour, hour and a half. The longest I've done straight, I think, was almost 3 hours one day. But you know, I think the most important thing is doing it, and then also being consistent with doing it. And then, Baba, what you got in regards to the question?
I would echo what you just laid down.
Sure.
No. Sure. Yeah. I meditated just as strongly at any given time where there was a harmonious vibe. You know, sometimes the mornings can get a little rushed. Sometimes, you know, things can happen. But, you know, we have to be adaptable. But, you know, I agree wholeheartedly that the best time would be after, you know, rising and, you know, kind of stretching out a bit and then yourself in a meditative posture. But again, one could meditate just as strongly at any other given time or any other given place. Okay. You know, once you learn how to do it,
right,
then, you know, like you stated, Orisha baby, then you do it.
Yeah.
You know, you're alone in the house for a while, you got a minute, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. And clicking on the TV, you know, you click on the, you know.
And even if you ain't alone, look, I got my AirPods, man. Them things sitting right over here on my other desk. I put them things in and I get in.
Go in.
go hard too. I got a dope meditation track that I got to see if I can share that. I can't remember where I got it from, so I don't know if I paid for it or what. But we got another question too. And appreciate you joining us, Creative Minds. We got a new member to the tribe, Peace Kings, new to the channel. What should you see when you meditate? I'm gonna be. Let me tell you something. It varies. It really varies. I'll sometimes I'll see nothing but pitch black, nothing but darkness, like I'm in the universe. Sometimes I see visions. Sometimes I see orbs. Sometimes if I astral project, I see the universe zipping by. Like I see stars and planets and all kind of stuff, like a super warp speed, kind of like Superman. But what's today? Today's Saturday. I want to say Thursday, either Wednesday or Thursday. I had a really powerful, strong meditation, and I actually saw beings. And it's not the first time I've seen them before. I believe they call them like the Council of Light or the Brotherhood of Light, something like that. But I saw beings during a Reiki session one time that I shared. I think it's podcast with the healer who gave me the session, Millie. Shout out to Millie. But Wednesday or Thursday, I believe, I had a really strong, deep meditation, and it was dope because I saw some very powerful. I felt the energy and the power of beings, and they were all white. They were very melanated. They were, I don't know, I'll say maybe 2 or 3 shades darker than Baba and I, but they were in all white, like suits, kind of like the people who've seen like the most general statue of Obatala, like that people put on their shrines where he has that white robe on. They had on like similar like that, like white robes, and some of them had like big froze, some of them had like long, like straight, melanated people, but their hair was kind of straight and it laid down. But it was dope, man. And yeah, I wasn't expecting that, and I saw that. And then there's sometimes where I see like spirals, and it's just there's no real rhyme or reason from my own personal experiences of what I've seen. And sometimes I don't see anything. Baba, what about you?
Well, I'm going to share this in addition to.
Okay.
All right. Now, I just happen to have beside me my first object of meditation. And again, different types of meditation, just like there's different types of everything. Now, when I first learned how to meditate, it goes back to what I previously stated. Having a particular object, okay, and locking in on that object, recreating that object in your mind, eyes closed, holding on to that object. Because see, before you can really get to samadhi, it's going to take years, okay, to constantly and at any given point in time deeply focus on the object. Now, I'll share this with you. I've had this object with me since 1978. And when I started to say, I'm going to, really get into this meditation thing, I would sit it up, okay, gaze it, start to carve within my mind, like the creator of this carved within wood, and lock in on it, and just not let anything to the right or to the left, above or below, move me from that. And then I said, okay, well, now that I'm working on that, then it was, the whole candles thing. People light a candle, they're in front of the candle, okay? You close your eyes, you can still see the light of the candle inside. But you got to lock in on it. You got to hold it there. And in your stillness of mind, you are taking the first steps towards meditation. Okay. Now, again, the transcendental meditation is just is valid. Okay, which I have to say it was more of Orisha technique, but different people have different techniques. Okay. And the strongest that we can share with you is, first of all, go slowly, because there are repercussions. There are times when you're just not going to be yourself. There are going to be mind slips. There's going to be openings. I was taking a particular type of yoga, back in the, and I tell you no lie, start hearing people's thoughts. I'm walking through the grocery store. I'm hearing these things. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, how is this possible? Well, because once the mind starts opening, you start to now understand what it is to be like a shaman, what it is to be like, someone with, paranormal capabilities and capacities. Okay. In yoga, it's called siddhis, Siddhis. And this is your focus starts to turn in on itself, and as a result, your sensory becomes extrasensory perception. Now, see, this is not, child's play right here. So when you start to meditate, obviously get a mentor, someone who has a style of meditation that you can breathe easily with, and understand that there's no one style, just like there's no one technique for almost any and everything, you know. But once you find what works for you, then you understand that it now becomes a way of your life.
I say.
And hopefully, hopefully together, Orisha, Bami, and myself have given you some insight in to take.
I say. Well, listen, I'm gonna share something real quick, and I'm gonna jump into what you just said. But so
let me put your object back before I start locking in on it. And don't you?
Lights for a minute, because this one. So this is one that I like to use. And I don't know how it's gonna show up on the screen with y'all, but this one I got is a crystal, right? But it has the metahedron in the middle of it. Mm-hmm. And I like, sometimes depending on the mood I'm in, I'll literally put this on the floor, I don't know, maybe 3 to 4, 6 feet away from me, and I'll just lock in on it with my third eye. I just, look at it simultaneously, like just straight. And man, you can see some stuff like unfold with it. In regards to meditation, I use that sometimes to meditate with as well. But what you just said just now, though, Baba, that's wild. Because listen, I promise you, I was just talking about that this week, within 3 or 4 days ago. I actually had an experience like that walking through Target, and it blew my mind. Like, I was like, yo, it blew my mind completely, because I've never experienced anything like that. And every person that I walk by, I could read their mind, and I'm like, yo, I need to get up out of the store. Like, because I thought I was tripping. I'm like, yo, but I mean, it was like Magneto or whichever one of the X-Men that can read through the mind, but it threw me for a loop, because I'm like, yo, like, I was so blown. Like, I was like, I gotta get out of here.
Professor X. Got that mind thing happening.
It was powerful. I was blown away by it. I didn't like it because luckily it wasn't nobody saying nothing crazy, but it was just like, yo, it was a lot. It was
because
a lot.
We aren't to accept our full potential.
Facts.
And when we get into IFA ISESE, we aren't of the unfolding that happens when we de-Christianize ourselves, de-biblicize ourselves, de-infantize ourselves, and not little kids, right. And dehumanize ourselves and start, walking this earth like we are. You understand? And just expand. And again, we become the shamans, we become the extrasensory perceivers. We can see the forces in operation. We are part of that world now. You see, we're just not actors on the stage. We are part of the beginning. We're part of the end. We are part of the resurrection. And it all works together, but it has to come from a state of mind. The practice of meditation, Isharo, is a part of that training. Now, as a martial artist back in the day, I've seen people do some things that I'm like, that's impossible. How is that even possible?
Yeah.
But then if you're in it for a while, you start to see that, based on certain trainings and techniques, how possible it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, that it's incumbent upon us to start getting into the beyond the senses, because our senses have been trained to be like horses with the blinders on them. When we take the blinders off, and the next thing you know, we're having a different experience in life. and we're bringing people into that experience and showing them how to, enhance themselves by the experience, not how to manipulate people and bewitch people and bespell people, because it's the same type of power. Remember the cities that the yogis and the gurus warn us against. They don't get caught up in the powers of it. Get caught up in the empowerment of it.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey,
Shout out.
uh-huh.
Yeah, okay. Shout out to Star Love, like another new listener. I don't recall seeing Star Love yet, but yeah, that's real. And what Star Love is speaking about for the I'm pretty sure everybody out here done seen it, but for what she's speaking about, as soon as I read her message, if it's female, I'm not sure, but if it's not, I apologize. But as soon as I read the message, I'm like, yo, the first thing I thought about was the Black Panther movie when T'Challa went to the realm of the ancestors, when he took the herb. And then he went to the realm of the ancestors, you know what I mean? And then he was able to see his father and his ancestors, he was chopping it up with him. That's a real thing. All that's real. Like if you dream, sometimes when I dream, I get to communicate with the ancestors. Or you go deep enough in a deep meditation. Or if you have an ancestral shrine and you sit at your shrine, you get some communication right there, buddy. I'm telling you. like that. Look, that's, I think, probably like, for me personally, that's probably like one of the most, I feel like, most prolific gateways or portals in regards to communication with spirit. Either that or another practice that I just started doing. I had met a brother from one of my presentations at the college, one of my master classes I did for marketing. And we got together and met up because he's an avid cigar smoker. So I was like, you know what, I'm not really a cigar smoker, but I know I've been told that's a good place to network because a lot of, successful business entrepreneurs and all that meet and congregate and, and the cigar lounges, chopping up or what have you. So I was like, okay, we met up and he introduced me to a cigar and I'm like, yo, I like this. Like it was a really nice cigar. I'm not even a big cigar guy or fan, but I like that particular one. But what I found is sometimes when I'm having my me time, I'll go on the patio and have the same brand that he, introduced me to. And I really feel as if I get downloads directly from spirit. Now, I saw something not too long ago recently online where someone was saying that the cigar, something with the cigar, they tied it to spirit and ancestors. I can't remember how they worded it, but I agreed with it because when I do that, sometimes I feel like spirit is communicating directly to me and with me, which is kind of dope. I like it. It's profound though, because is there any like science to that? Or is there any?
Oh yeah, deep science to it, and just like you connected with the Black Panther, he took an herb. Okay, all right. And again, I kind of dropped this silently in one of our last podcasts, but the IFA priests, they would take hallucinogenics, mushrooms. Okay, they smoke herb.
I'm scared of them shrooms. I ain't gonna lie to you, boy. I know some priests in the eyes that be doing it, but I'm like,
but again, different strokes for different
folks. Yeah.
But that's global.
Yeah.
Shamanic folks who are quote unquote priestly, they have, other ways to reach altered states. But see, there are also meditators. There are also those who know how to sit in silence so that when they do take these substances, they exactly, they don't bug out. and when they do, reach certain stages of mental development, where they're talking to God. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
They don't, try to use it to harm people. They come back with the realization that realm they've journeyed to enhances them to be a helpful person to humanity. Oh, Ray, to bring the world to a better state. That is one of the pillars of Ifa Isheshe. That cannot be denied. It cannot be not talked about. It cannot be, not. It has to be there. Good people, it has to be there. And however we reach those state of minds via prayer, mushrooms, marijuana, cigars, quiet time in the forest, which is thing, then however you get there, but it's what you come back with, you come back with forming the Ashe channel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You come back with writing books, you come back with being a pillar within the tribal nation.
Yes.
That's what you come back with, you know, and anything else you come back with that's helpful, beneficial.
Yeah. No, that's real. And I'm telling you, there's been so many times where I got a download where it's like I can't even name all of them because there's been so many times that I went out there and I sat and I listened to spirit, and then and it's just like so many different downloads. One time I'll never forget, I was in a situation where I was in a bit of a heated debate or discussion, right? And then I remember going out there, and I remember as I'm out there, I remember spirit telling me, like, man, you need to tighten up. Like, you sitting there, you allowing this BS to like have your energy down or have you on operating on a low vibrational frequency when that's just a simple miscommunication or a disagreement that easily can be ironed out and fixed. Get your ass in there and you know how to come to grips in a happy, peaceful manner and get this thing going and stop BSing. You know what I mean? So it was like, you know, I want to say, but I'm trying to. But no, but for real, but it's like, but I'm like, damn, man, like, yeah, that's real. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I got it. And it's like, so it's in time when I be out there in spirit to kick my ass, but in a good way, because it's like me
whoop you up a bit
and making me be accountable for being able to take charge of a situation and do what's best to get through it rather than let the situation knock me down and knock me around and be, you know what I'm saying, tripping over it. So it's like you control all aspects of your life and your experience.
Right.
Figure out how to make it happen and stay in control. You know what I mean? Even if it means, you know, acquiescing to meeting, you know, other people where they are, so y'all can, you know, figure out how, you know, you can meet, you know, amicably and move past it. You know what I mean? So it's like, or it could be an issue I'm trying to figure out with something with the channel or something with the community, or, you know, whatever, business related. And then I'm sitting there chilling and bam, answer comes right to me. I'm like, damn, what? Yes, sir. Let's go. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's a real thing. Meditation is more powerful to me personally. I'm sorry, go ahead, Bob.
And when take that to the first the picture that you showed, you know, with you know, our folks sitting down there, you know, planning the building of something great. You think they're getting all agitated and, you know, fussing and cussing at each other, and you understand what I'm saying? And you know, I got this and you ain't got that, you know what I mean? And walk around and, you know, no, you got to have that clarity of mind and a behavioral expression that puts you in that meditative state of mind, that working meditation, in order to accomplish the greatest of goals. Let's see the next picture.
Oh, okay. I got one quick question, if you don't mind, and then I'll bring it right back up, Baba. So, Caribbean Nation in the building. Shout out to IFA Segun. You got that one, Baba?
Yeah, but I'm trying to figure out what he means by Isan ego. What's his interpretation?
All right. So I'm gonna ask him if he can explain it clearer, and then I'll go ahead and show the next picture while we get that worked out.
To it, because I don't want to answer not knowing. My sister here. Okay.
Hold on, Baba. My bad. This
Take your time.
certain things I type on the keyboard, it does certain things. I'm back. I got it back. It's certain, like when I hit shift, I think it does something to the screen. But so you said the sister now?
Yes. Now I wanted this picture to the mind's eye. That symbol of grace and sisterhood and womanhood within our tribal nation, and to let this shine as an image of grace and beauty. Now, she just passed away, Jameson last name, and she was the cultural director of the Alvin Ailey dance troupe, you know, choreographer and all. But it was just something about this picture that just impressed itself upon my mind. The posture, the pose, and whoever the photographer was, he was into the spirit.
Yeah.
You just don't accidentally capture a person's aura or their essence, their ashe, if you will.
I didn't see it last night, but the way I see it right now, man, that picture wholeheartedly reminds me of the bust of Oduduwa a little bit. It really does. For those who have seen that bust of Oduduwa, like they could be male and female twins, because the shape of her head, the hairstyle, and the pose. It really, matter of fact, what a cover of OGC. Here you go. Look, bye. I tell you what, let me do one better.
Okay.
So the cover of OGC, that picture reminds me of this right here, family.
Yes.
It really, truly does. And I'm like, yo, I didn't peep that when we did the call the other day when we were sharing. But actually, I don't think we got to that picture. But even when I saw it, I didn't peep that. But that's what that reminds me of. It reminds me of that bust right there, which is powerful.
Well, and the Nupe people of Nigeria. Okay. Yeah, that's the bust, and the creation around the sculpture that they unearthed, Tada, Tada, is how I had one of the members of the Temple of the Mystic Path, Brother Mansa, try to capture it, man, put it there, and the the connection that you just made is profound and deep to say that as a part of my own experience. That's part of the reason why the picture had such an impact on me from that internal meditational state of mind, because we start to make connections when our minds are clear that we don't even know.
That's amazing, man. I'm just like, now that I'm just looking at it like that is utterly amazing. That she really looks like very, very similar.
Yeah.
Very similar.
Jameson. So she just passed recently, but
Mm.
she will remain alive through us, because
Ashe.
that's what we do for our ancestors. That's what we do for our people.
Ashe.
And they don't have to look like not us in order for Ribale, in order for us, to ikunle, to kneel in supplication and say, this is us. And what she represents is the beauty and grace of not only a Black woman, but of Black people, because she gives birth to us, to our creativity, to our dignity, to our nobility. And these are pictures of worth. These are the images that we need to surround ourselves with. It can't be, oh, well, I've seen that picture before. Well, how many other pictures do you see that don't empower you, that dispower you?
Facts.
Every time you open your eyes and walk down the street, you're seeing images. Every time you turn on the TV, images. Well, I don't know if people still listen to the radio, but stream. You know what I mean? You are hearing things, you are seeing things, and you are hearing it and seeing it over and over and over again, and it's forming your reality. Why can't we see more of her? So it forms our reality. We are IFA. We are the Afrofuturistic beings from 7 generations in the future, here and now, preparing for the future.
Yes, sir. I got the clarity for the question too, Baba. So
All
I'm
right.
gonna bring it back up for the Cariday Nation.
Yes.
Okay, here it is. So he was saying, can you meditate with like Opaeku? The Yagunguns, those who have it. Yeah, I was gonna answer that because I was on some new ways to meditate as well.
But the Opa is the staff, and the staff is symbolic. In answer to your question, you can meditate on your fingertip. From the Tai Chi, we have the birch claw, and you sit and you place it like this, and you just focus on where all fingers and thumb meet. And there's certain postures where you hold. Okay, so you see, you can meditate on a raindrop. One of the first short stories that I wrote that was published by Black Gold Press back in the 80s dealt with a situation, and the major character was sitting like on the apartments where they have the little iron porches or stair steps in the fire escape, and she got into the meditation of the raindrops, the sound of the rain hitting the iron and the splashes that they made. I only say that to say, you can meditate on anything that your eyes can see, that your ears can hear, that your nose can smell. If you can sense it, you can meditate on it. Now, it helps to learn the symbolism. Say if it's a carving, what does such and such symbolize, and why is there a bird on it? You know what I mean? Then you got to do your study, because again, it's just not, well, I'm just going to look at it. No, I need to learn about it. I need to know about it. So when I meditate on it, it has a greater voice inside of me. Hopefully that answers your question.
So we got another picture too. So I know we're running close up on time, family. So I'm gonna throw that one up there real quick.
Okay.
And then, so what is this one, Baba? This picture right here.
Oh,
That's one of the ones you sent me to.
I just need for us to see ourselves in royal garb. I just need to see pictures of us as, oh well, we were kings and queens and da 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 da, but still that image of royal adornment, that image of royal grace and stature. Now we can talk about,
I'm just gonna say black excellence.
yeah, oh yeah,
That's how I see it.
right,
Greatness, sovereignty.
yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But again, when's the last time we've ever seen it? When's the last time we ever had discussions about it? So it's imperative that we have these pictures around us to remind us of what we have not forgotten, but disallowed to reconnect with. And that kind of led me to a real current understanding about memories. We don't ever forget anything. We just forget how to connect with that thing. Other things come between it. We know we may even age out of it in terms of dementia or whatever, but those memories are still there. We just don't access them. And when we start studying meditation and ajaga, yogic sciences and all related to seeing images like this, we understand that, and I shared this before, that memories are stored in our bodies, not just in our brains.
Sure.
And that's why we can go to a senior citizen home, for example. I was playing with one of the bands that I used to perform with. We go to senior citizens homes, and there's people who can't even remember their name, but if they hear a song, they'll get up and start dancing, and they'll start to sing the song, even though they've forgotten so much else about their life, because those memories are stored in various places throughout the body. And just like I warned against the powers of meditation, the siddhis, you also warn about people who start doing yoga and Reiki and things of that nature, because when you start unlocking the body, you're unlocking memories that have been stored in those bodies.
Yes, sir. And
not all memories are good.
And epigenetics. Yeah.
Yes. You see? So, but here again, as we dismantle, we build. So we want to bring more of these images into the forefront and not depend on his storybooks and his movies and his religious interpretations and Sistine Chapel images of what is God and godly and medieval Eurocentric pictures of, I can tell you about the castles and princess this and king this,
to tell our story. Yeah, we don't need that.
Yeah. I mean, we really don't. And we don't even really need to compare ourselves to it.
No, sir.
Outside of comparative analysis, but in terms of comparative justification, no. Okay. I don't need to justify IFA from a Abrahamic standpoint. Now, I'll do a comparative analysis, show how they're the same and show how they're different, but I'm not going to, argue that Ifa is the same as, a Christian or Muslim or Judeo. Understand this outside of the human need to, bring into a finiteness the infinite and to live by and try to create ideals for life and afterlife.
Shay. And I'm glad, and Kosi, appreciate you for saying that, man, because you triggered one of my memories. So when Kosi was saying like that, the last image that I just had up reminds him of the statue that you had up behind you the other night. But I meant to ask you, Baba, what was that statue, man? That thing was powerful. What was the statue that you had? It had the beautiful round head.
Oh, that's Queen Mother, man. That's Queen Mother.
Man, that thing was ice cold. I meant to tell you after we got off the podcast, but you remember I had the technical difficulties. I had to jump into quality control and try to,
But
get
if
the
you're
fire hose out.
okay,
But yeah,
but
that
if
was powerful.
you zoom in on it, you see she was nursing a child.
Yes, I saw that.
Nursing a child. Now, come on now. This goes back long before the,
Yeah.
you know,
Mm.
Euro, you know,
Long days ago.
long ways when the female essence was the goddess,
As it should be, the IJ.
capital God, and then how could she not be?
Facts.
How could she not be? You know, except if she's whipped and burned and hung and drowned into submission to
And you
some.
better be careful with that, boy, because the EIME will make sure that they have something to say about that there, buddy.
It'll just say it'll be a long time coming because the whole white male patriarchy and macho and all that kind of stuff is rampant, and it's a part of their religious construct.
Yeah.
You know, so we have to isolate ourselves from them. You know what I mean? We got to navigate, yeah, well, again, because we are where we are, but that doesn't mean we have to believe or try to explain ourselves. We got to be over here doing what we're doing.
Yes, sir. Facts.
I ain't trying to make friends with them people, man.
Yeah.
I ain't trying to make enemies out of them either. I
Yeah.
just need to do what I came here to do.
That's all I do. What I came to do. And I'm
Right.
not really overly concerned about too much more.
Not happy,
you know?
Now, if they want to make me an enemy by poking and getting all in my face with stupid stuff, then okay, it is what you made it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I got a long history of genetic reasons why I'm just going to meditate my way into your body and just tear you up from the inside. You won't know that you've been dead until you get home.
I got to turn the sirens on now, boy. Listen. So what you just said, right? You remind me. I forgot to share the links to. I'm gonna share the links to like 1804. Excuse me, to all those documentaries that I was sharing. That I was talking about with Professor Small. But what you were just telling me, what you were just sharing with us, it reminds me of there's a part in the documentary 1804 where Francois Macandile, he was like one of the major components, one of the major element warriors in that whole the success of the Haitian Revolution. So before what he did is, I don't want to ruin the documentary for y'all, but long story short, he was able to help the revolution he was a very powerful herbalist. So what he would teach the brothers and the sisters on the plantations and on the boots on the ground how to work with the herbs to help to be able to eliminate the threat of the enemy.
Yeah.
So I'll leave it at that. But I don't want to ruin it for y'all who are going to check out the movie, or the documentary. But when they caught him, they did eventually catch him once they got hit. Actually, no, I take it back. It was a damn collaborator that turned him in. But when they caught him, based upon the collaborator, right? They caught him, and that's fine. Y'all got me. Yeah, okay, whatever. He said, but I'm coming back, and I'm coming to blood. And he said, I'm coming back as a mosquito, and I'm gonna eat y'all ass up. So fast forward now, a couple more decades further down the line, if you think about it, that was a very, very, very powerful or significant outbreak of malaria that started breaking out. And lo and behold, he fulfilled that prophecy by his spirit came back in the form of a mosquito. Well, who you messing with out here, man, because some people just have a higher level of consciousness or, the ability to transform.
Yeah.
Like Optimus Prime and Bumblebee and all, and like transform and then still get the job done with or without a body. So I thought that was pretty powerful.
Yeah. All right, man. So
yeah. Well, family.
I
think that's it. We've been going pretty hard, man. We went real hard today, but I appreciate everybody who showed up and showed out, man. We had a nice congregation this evening. A lot of the tribe came through. Our regulars, we had some new family come through and stop in and chop it up with us. But yeah, I definitely, as always, Baba, appreciate all that you do. Excuse me, the time that you spend with us and investing in us, pouring in us, and just sharing your words of wisdom, and your ashe, man. We appreciate you. I appreciate you. Tribe, I appreciate every single one of y'all. And we got a lot more in store. Excuse me, I've been working the phones and getting things cracking, man, to bring even more ashe and more elders and more prolific speakers and guests to the platform. So we're working on queuing up them schedules, man, to make it do, but y'all always know, excuse me, we're going to be here to make it do, Baba and I, and the regulars that we normally have as well. And we're going to just keep building, keep growing and playing this Ashe in these Ashe streets, man, for sure.
What about getting for the class tomorrow?
Oh yeah, for those who are interested in going on a much deeper level, we do have 2 tiers for the membership. We have the basic community tier. That one gets you access to members only videos, exclusive live streams, as well as excuse me, several other perks for that tier. But then the VIP tier is something that we're going to do up until going in the beginning of next year when Baba and I launched the Ashe IFA Institute. We're going to be doing, but we're going to still hold courses, private, group training sessions up until then, starting tomorrow. So tomorrow we're starting at 12 p.m. So for anybody who wants to join us with that, you can click the link.
Much?
I'm sorry?
How much?
Just $24.99 a month is what we're doing for that one. And the goal is to deliver 20 times more knowledge, more value, more information for the training courses to really pour in. And even with the basic tier, with the $5 membership, that's the first one. I'm gonna be pouring in a whole lot. And for those who are already in there, they got to see the private Mukasa Dada interview, who is the founding father of, or one of the founding fathers of the Black Panther Party, who I'm working on getting him into the tribe as well. I want to get a private call with him to come in and really share, more in depth, and even to the point where we can have Q&A where the tribe can kind of, speak to him directly. The thing is about that, family, is that there's certain conversations that we have that need to be had that we can't have on YouTube, because the channel don't want to get flagged by speaking on the deep truths. But at the end of the day, we have to share the truth. It's just that we have to share it in a different space. But with that, though, anybody who joins, we appreciate you. And even if you don't, we still appreciate you, because we appreciate y'all being here, and that means everything. Shout out to Mr. Rodriguez, showing love again, man. I appreciate the super thanks and the super likes, man. We definitely appreciate you, bro. And then we got some people shouting out on the way out. Shout out to Khalif. Appreciate you. Shout out to Miss Cook. Miss Cook been going ham in the comments. I appreciate you, Miss Cook. She definitely is a new family member to the Ashe tribe, that she been going ham on the comments. We appreciate you. Mr. Rodriguez, we appreciate you as well. We appreciate all y'all, family. We really do. And for those who are in the VIP, we'll see y'all tomorrow at noon. And it's been real, man. It's been love. It's been real. And I appreciate every single one of y'all. So don't forget to please like, share, subscribe. And we'll definitely be back next week with some more lives. And then I still got a ton of content that needs to get uploaded on the channel that I'll be putting up in the next couple of days too, on top of the live streams that we're going to make happen on a regular basis based off of Baba and I's schedule. So family, we appreciate y'all, man. We really do. And likewise, Karate Nation, Ifa Segun, we appreciate you as well, man. It's love. It's all reciprocity. And to quote one of our profound African, it goes something like, I am because we are I am. So that's how I feel about that, Baba. What about you?
I feel as though that is so profound, man. How can we get any deeper than that?
Yes, sir.
I am because we are because I am.
Ashe. Yeah. It's been real, family. So we out, man. So don't forget to please like, share, subscribe, and we'll see y'all on the next one. This is your host, Orisha Bemi, and for the Oloye, Ojise, Oba, Baba Ifa Karade, we out. Appreciate y'all.
Ẹni tó gbàgbé ilé ṣàpò ìyàpọ̀, tẹ́ǹtì ẹni takísà ní tàtàn, ò bá padà sílé anítìjàkọ, ẹja lọ pé eégún mo ṣe ní gbẹ́rẹ́ ìpàkọ́. Forsake not your ancestors and pray.